to just stick to the status quo. Many people feel that they're the target of ageism in the workplace, which can halt their career advancement as early as the age of 50. I'm glad we said 50 is early. Career expert Laurel McClay is here to talk about whether we just have to stick with what we've got and what we know, or whether whether there are opportunities, I suppose, Laurel, to move, to change careers at that kind of 40, 50 age.
That's right. Well, thank you. And hi, Ali. It's lovely to see you again. Look, I just think it happens at any age, but as we get older, we tend to make these excuses up and think, oh, no one ever wants me, no one wants a job and offer me something. And so even if we're absolutely miserable in what we're doing now, we won't change because we think it's the only option we've got.
So, I'm 15 years away from retirement, what real prospects do I have for a complete change? Is it ever really too late?
Look, I know, didn't Colonel Sanders start up his restaurant when he was in his mid-60s? There's people who go into, they might be might be going to like a customer service role, but they're doing that in their 70s. It's really that you are as old as you feel. I loved Kim Cattrall's interview last week with Paul, where she said, where do we go to age? And we can just redefine aging. It's just, I think 1 in 4 people are going to be aged over 55 in the workforce by the time it's 2020. So it's definitely a consideration we all should be looking at.
It's something we have to get our heads around as a society, isn't it? But I wonder whether older people, because I suppose because they've been in the same industry for quite a while, haven't looked for a job in quite a while, are they looking for a job in the right way?
That's a really good point, thank you. Well, I just think a lot of people will go and be reactive. So they'll go and check out Seek, etc. But even more so than that, they're not actually looking at what they want. So I've just heard these great stories, one who was really, really interested in child obesity, and she'd been in the fitness industry prior to that. She just looked at things differently, and now she's going into homes and she's helping people with that. So when you're doing something that you really love, that's going to make it a whole lot easier for you to get that role, because your enthusiasm and your passion is just going to shine through.
Does enthusiasm and passion really take you very far in a job interview process in that world, though? Because at 50, if I suddenly say I want to go and, be a nurse, you obviously have to be qualified for that, but I don't have those qualifications. It's probably a little bit late for me to get those qualifications. Do I have to stick, rather than following my passion, stick to something that I know that might be a little bit out of my current, area, but parallel to it?
Yeah, look, interesting you say that, because I used to be what's known as a passion bully and say, you've got to go and get what you absolutely love. And now I think, well, it's a little bit more like a hummingbird. You go and just try these different things. Now, look, I know people in their 60s who've gone back to retrain, interestingly enough, for example, in law, strangely. But so you can do it. But I think there's also ways for you to find a lifestyle. Try talking to Uber drivers. Really fascinating. I spoke to someone last week in Wellington who'd been a restaurant consultant. She was now back in Wellington, and she's going to open a retreat, and she's doing Uber driving in the meantime. So she's getting herself known, but she's earning some money. So I think often it's also that kind of lily pad, jump onto something that you can work for a while till you get into something that you really love.
You have some practical stuff that the over 40s, which is your target audience, can do via your website. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Well, basically, my background is recruitment, and I'm also a sales expert. So I'm very, very keen on helping people to promote themselves, to first of all find what they like and then go out and make it happen. So I've got a beautiful program called LabU that's starting in early December. So details, I think, are going to go up on your website, but it's laurelmcclay.com. And it's just fantastic, because just look at things differently. Why do we need to age? Because it's the way it's always been done. My grandmother, I think, was wearing Aussie dresses in her 40s. That's such a state of mind thing, isn't it?
So don't get stuck in a rut. Is that the main message?
Yeah, absolutely. And just start thinking about what you really love. There's so many ways to make money these days, and it doesn't need to be as a job either, by the way. Very exciting.
Think outside the box.
Exactly.
That's careers specialist Laurel McClay. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Ali.
Nice
really
to see you
it.
again.